Okay, it's the weekend and I'm going to run the strategy tester, and I've got a grid here of 10 pips marked on the right side of the chart there. You see the 10 pip tags, and then I have a 20 pip, which is a slightly thicker line, and then I have a 100 pip, which is the big fat black line. Black lines matter. So I'm going to be thinking about trading with a 9 pip or 8 pip stop all the way to a 14 pip stop, and my ratios are basically, I'd say, a little bit better than break even on the first button press. So if I have trailing, I have 6 stop orders, right? 6 sells and 6 buy stops, and I'm using just the canned moving average, a robot that comes with the system is the just your good old-fashioned moving average system. I can't open that up and apparently look at it, but that's the expert advisor I chose. This comes with the platform. It ran without crashing. Look, it's buying here. What a genius. The whole point. So the point of this is that if you want to kind of experiment with different moving average systems and stuff like that, we just call out the trades. I know you can get these things that do it, but you really don't have to do that. You want to just test yourself to see, hey, would you buy here? And look, it's going into new highs. I just took out the high yesterday. So you're constantly quizzing yourself, I think, when you're looking at this. I'm always asking myself every time I'm alive that what the fuck's going on here? Some guy asked me in the video I did on this video I did Friday. They say, hey, you put buy stops in after the sell-off and all this stuff, and in former videos you placed a ton of sell limits along the wick. Now, every situation is different, and without regard to that, it wouldn't mean anything without having the right stop, the right ratio, and the right size for the account you're trading. And that's going to be different for anybody that... so the people that want to trade high risk are always going to trade high risk. Even if you... So if you make the ratios really good, right, you could probably trade a lot more risk. And you would make more money because you're not risking as much. So you have a throttle, like really good mileage on your car. You know that if you punch it, you are going to lose mileage, but it's worth it, right? Because you're going to pass this guy that's giving you a hard time in traffic. You can just punch it, right? So after you tap your brakes and cause a problem with the guy behind you, because tailgating, then you punch it. So it's a tap and punch. So it's a little riskier, a little more fun though. So as far as the tactics, where you put sell limits and buy limits, it's really inconsequential because there are people, and there's proof of it, there's people that trade a single ticket and they manage that stop and ratio wise, and they may not make the most amount of money. They may get stopped out in a winning trade. Like you could say, wow, you could have let that thing. Yeah, I only had one bullet in my gun, so I had to be really careful. And I just took the guy's arm off, and he finally died of a bloody death. With all the trailing stop management, he finally, yep, that was a confirmed kill. So then there's all the way to the level of having so many orders in that your broker, he's got like you got like 1,000 tickets there. So you're in that's $1 million of exposure, or wins or losses, $1 million of actual currency. And so you can spread your risk from everything from one ticket that you would manage and all the way to super fine diversification. Just like these people that have, they have gold, they have a mutual fund, they have this and that, all this stuff, right? And whatever happens in their life, say all of a sudden the markets collapse, and all of a sudden it turns out that, something you didn't think it was worth anything, all of a sudden becomes worth something. Or there's really no market there yet. But people, it's like sector rotation. People go from commodities to this to that, There was a time when people would say, "Oh, you got to get in that." Now gold could go to 500, like I said. Look at Bitcoin screaming into 5,000. I mean, the crowd's fickle. When they loved Michael Jackson, until they're like, "Well, he's having sleepovers with kids." Oh, well, you know what? He's a kid himself. So this whole thing, so, and so, if you come, the kids come over to the house and Michael Jackson's like, well, you can just crash with me. Okay. So who hasn't slept with their kids, right? It's so retarded. But see, it's all the perception there. And then I would get out of this trade right now, this robot's in. But so it's all perception. And what would you do about it? And what should you do about it? And is there anything you should or what could do? So this is where I think I lose people when I talk about life and the shoulds and coulds and woulds. Now, because it comes into trading, unfortunately, your real life spills into the trading world because you're like, I should get out of this. I should cut my losses short. Now, if that's not the most retarded thing in the world, because it doesn't make any sense, right? Standalone thought, without connected to any kind of dollar amount, it's a completely ridiculous statement. Cut your losses short. What kind of loss are we talking about here? Now, if you're married to some psycho bitch, they'd say, oh, you know what? You just said that's what being married's about. They're like, huh? They're like, well, but it's completely, I'm going to blow my brains out. No, that's marriage. Oh, okay. So trading, if you're in a drawdown, you're in a fucking loss. You're going to cut that short and miss out on the move. I just saw this Jim Dandy guy do a video, and he says it gives you some breathing room. You put on a trade and you got to put that stop a little wider to give you some breathing room, but this is presupposing you're one guy in the Poseidon Adventure looking for that little cubbyhole of air at the top of that's now the bottom of the ship. Why do you do that to yourself? Why don't you just put on 3 trades and you have plenty of breathing room? You might lose one of your soldiers, right? We have a snuffed out soldier. But, when you think about trading, you can have an army of trade plans. This gets back to the war room concept of trading. Okay, you got a pea shooter, you got a fucking bazooka. This fucker with the bazooka script, right? He's going to blow his face off. The guy with the 5 pip take profit with the, I just watch. You have to be right like 1,000% of the time on that trade. So maybe you have an order that what's the probability of you making 1 pip? Well, actually, you can actually buy the market and it cannot go up 1 fucking pip and just go down 100 pips. It's totally possible. So if you trade the same size in every ticket like that, it would only take you 1 time to just really annihilate your account. But you would claim, oh, but 1 pip bounce is like really high pro. Okay, but how many times can you press that button? So you're going to rationalize, and of course this comes from the hope springs eternal, right? This is the part of your real life. This is how you got into this marriage with this psycho babe, because you hoped she was going to fucking stop drinking. Right? You hoped. And so trading, same thing. I mean, people say, well, hope is not a strategy. Well, neither is fear. And of course, if you're afraid of your wife and she is beating you with a frying pan, okay, and you go to the marriage counselor and they tell you, well, you just get a Kevlar helmet. I mean, this is her personality. She likes to beat you with a frying pan. So the market's definitely, if you're triggered by losing money because you have to get an attorney to get out of this fucking relationship, then you look at that as a loss. So when you lose in the market, you're kind of playing back partial playback, maybe just a acid flashback of that particular incident when you felt like this is I'm in a losing trade here, this psycho bitch is never going to simmer down. I'm fucked. Here's a nice top becoming a bottom on the. So the same thing I think would happen. That's trend trade, but this is IB getting out here, the 20-yard line. Look at the respect this thing has for the. Look at it, ricochets off the 20, again off the 20. But so trading to me kind of brings on those feelings of loss, and now if you're going to hold in to you're going to stay married to this Spazzarella that has basically eaten through your money, and she's still hot though. So you're like, well, she still looks good. And of course, I have a buddy that I know all these people that they're right out of a storybook, and you think, really? So, this guy, go to his house. And the guy is, I would say, he likes to drink rum. And this guy is right out of like a movie. So I'm over at his place, and it didn't go too well. I mean, the guy's nuts. He's nuts. And he's a musician. He's a drummer. So he's a talented drummer. And, there's just he gets his wife a breast augmentation, or they call it a boob job. And I'm thinking, my God, man, buy a new car, right? Why are you painting it's got body rust. You can't just put glitter paint on top. And she's a piece of work, right? She's out of her fucking mind. So I go over there, and I kind of, every time you ever visit somebody's house, and you're like, I know these people. Yeah, they're not axe murderers, but still, it's so uncomfortable to be at somebody else's house and hear them yell at their kids or whatever's going on. And but this is to be the same thing as if. So I guess that's why trading's a personal thing. You watch somebody trade, you're like, really? Using a Gartley pattern. That's how you found your wife. Like, oh yeah, no, I went to the bar. I brought a Fibonacci tool with me, and you should see how she cues 618 on her ass. Her ass is a 618 to her midsection's a 38.2 or whatever. So, yeah, that 618 girl, wow, she's a little tough to live with, but man, she just came, like, I'm talking bat wings. It looks so good. So it was a good idea in the beginning, right? It all looks good on paper. But, Your Honor, I did risk to reward ratios, and I said to myself, worst case scenario, she fucks up the car. And then talk about getting stopped out of that trade. Now, so you'd have to, the nice thing about trading, though, is that you can have 100 psycho babes, but they're little, some of them actually turn out, and, but I do think that's the problem with the trading thing, is the single entry idea. That's what my channel's about. Some guy asked me, what the fuck's, so what's your channel about? Okay, it says, let's see, let me go back to my list of things here. So he says, while I'm new to trading, I was wondering, what is the purpose of your channel? I can't tell if you want to teach or brag. I'd say I want to do both. I guess I want to brag about all the comedy that I've run into in real life, all the mishaps that have happened. I think it's funny and how feeble life is in the end, because you're going to die. So I want to brag about all my experiences and how I've learned nothing. No wisdom's come to me after years of painstaking punishment, self-inflicted, mind you. So, yeah, I guess I'm just going to describe the life of a masochist. Yeah, I want to teach you how to be your own masochist. So, come to Forex trading. Yeah, but seriously, he says, I understand only about half of what you're conveying, but I wish you could explain more of what and why you do things. Of course, not when people say that, I don't know what part they're getting. Are they getting my jokes? Or are they getting the trades? Or are they getting? I would have got out up here, just saying this would be like ridiculous. But the end of the day is coming. That was quite a nice win there. I don't know if I'd be adding to this thing as the end of the day comes here. It looks like it's running out of energy. But so yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm where I'm hitting somebody. So as far as the scripts go, I'm totally lost. You may find this funny and not care what I think. You have something to offer. I wish I could learn more from you. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose everybody has something to offer. I always tell people, listen, do a video like the people that say I'm crazy. Do your video. Let me look at your video and let's see how you think. Maybe I'm crazy, and hopefully I am, because I certainly wouldn't want to blend in with the masses, our asses, concept of life. Well, I guess this is really not true, because people that you meet in the real world are you assess them on a one-by-one basis. But of course, the conventional wisdom, which conventional means just kind of like broad-based, everybody's got the same view, you would say, this kind of mob mentality. What's the mob doing? What's the crowd doing? What's the trend? And hey, you know what? This thing's going there. Okay. But every time you think, and this is, I guess, why the trend trading is a big deal, because people want to belong. They want to be on the right side of the market. And all these things spill into it. So they really can't separate your real life from trading, unfortunately. And so people come to trading to make money. Could they make money in their own business? If trading's a business, and you have to believe it is, because it has hours, it has risk, it has a rush hour. The rush hour being when the price really starts to move, you figure, well, that's got to be the rush hour. This has got to be when things really, and there's also the slow time, and then something bad happens. So this is like, hey, you know what? You're married and things are going pretty smooth, and all of a sudden, see now here, this is the entry from retesting this pivot, but only for a kind of a limit thing. But look how beautifully if you had a strategy here that employed sell stops and buy stops, because it was getting very quiet there, you would have made money on that breakup. Look at this slam back to this price. That's an interesting retest, right? 1 hour chart. So you just made 20 pips in an hour there on the the euro to the pound. But yeah, just all the stuff that can happen to you trading. And somebody sent me an email saying that they sold the euro to the yen, and they were like, well, hey, do you think I should stay in this trade? I'm like, well, I don't even know. Are you swinging or scalping? Do you think that's a big loss? He was down let's say $1,000. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I just think that's, you can make a market call, like this guy that was killing me with his, I made a market call. Why is everybody mad at me? Look, I've been right on every trade. Okay, great. But you didn't really tell us, is that just one ticket? Did you put a 300 pip stop? I mean, I could be right about a trade with a 500 pip stop. But how much money am I risking? So it's a risk game. It's not necessarily a game that, oh, look I can see where the market's going. I'm going to buy and okay, it's going up. Let's just get in anywhere. Well, you could with a really wide stop, but could you trade big enough to make any big money with a big stop? Well, you'd have to risk so much. I mean, but that's something a lot of people would that are pattern orientated would not think about. But this is the reason why you're with the psycho babe, right? Beautiful girl. Oh my God, right? So you kind of have a wider range of risk you would apply to that trade. You would say, oh, I could risk 20 grand on this psycho babe. Like I've got 50 grand, but we could let her have some rope and see if she hangs herself. Maybe she'll just crash the car and die, right? You'd be like, damn, it's sad, but I'm kind of happy that, I mean, she was a drinker, and there's karma, or whatever you want to call it, and so we're out of that relationship. The market, so this is the thing, is that the market could make you rich or make you poor, but if you have an insurance policy like a stop, so say you got this crazy girl, and you're like, okay, well, I just gave her a credit card, but it has like only a $150 limit, or I gave her a prepaid card, so I just keep her on like a coupon leash. And I don't know why women, this is their women's leverage, is that they're hot. So the guy's like, well, I just, just put her on and this is, I think, why prostitutes were invented, for people that just thought, you know what, I don't know if I want to really know that much about you. Let's just keep this business, let's just run a business. And I think this is why the people that don't want to think about money, unless you live on the Starship Enterprise, where they didn't see a lot of money there. People are just doing stuff. But unfortunately, the real world, when you go to the store, so I just went down to the grocery store here, and they punished me again. So I get in there, and I'm kind of, the economy's getting more hustly and bustly. People are out doing stuff now because they're not in like Obama socialist lockdown, so they're a little bit more, hey, let's live a little. So I'm at the grocery store there, and the line's packed up. They got one checkout person. They got 8 lanes open, so I went to the manager and said, what's going on? She goes, what do you mean what's going on? I said, well, can't you just hit that register and can't you just cash me out here? She says, I don't have a scale. Okay, well, fucking just come up with a price, bitch. So I'm in the grocery store, and this is my big gripe in life, is the grocery store. And also yesterday, big line stacked up. Not that I wasn't enjoying the free entertainment, but holy shit, this guy puts a pepper on the scale, and I'm not fucking kidding you. I don't think he could even tip the scale to get the fucking cashier to see how much this thing weighs. And she's looking it up, and I swear to God, it seemed like 5 minutes it took her, which is forever, right, to look up that price. And I said, just give it to her. Just let her have it. I said, I don't think she heard me. I said, just give her the fucking pepper. What are you going to bill out 19 cents on this? You're holding up this whole fucking line of people. Everybody wants to get their shit before the holiday. And I'm like, really? Just go here. Put it in the bag. Right? The spirit of the law. The spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. Just like, you know what? She's already bought $300 worth of shit. Can you just throw the pepper in the fucking bag? I don't even know. If I was a cash out guy, they'd probably fire me in about a day. He's just like, God, his line moves really fast. But we noticed that when he's not sure about the price, he doesn't lock up the whole fucking line all the way to Egypt and say, price check. I mean, then you got the fucker with all the coupons in front of you. For God's sakes, there should be a separate line. Coupon fucks over here. Like you have express checkout. How about coupon fucks? How about widespread? How about, right? This is the fucking, CAD yen trade. Here, you go over there, bitch. I'm in the euro dollar checkout. Boom, 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 boom. I'm scalping. Get me the fuck out of this goddamn grocery store. So now my trading life's spilling into my real world life. And I'm going to the grocery store with the mindset, I'm just here to scalp. I just want to pick up my fucking greatest hits of shit and get the fuck out of here. No, I'm not here to. And then you got these fuckers, like I said, in the aisles on hovercrafts, and you've got the fuckers that are just, they're like kind of writing a book about grocery stores, and they're musing around the store, looking at shit. Like, we're retesting this again. I think we could maybe blow through the bottom there. But so you could have sold up here at this perfect failure to make it higher. It's almost like it's in a range. So anyways, I'm just here to bitch and rant. But seriously, people, come on. There should be some talk about regulations. And you know what? If you're on your cell phone walking out of the grocery store and you're staring at that motherfucker, so you're going to just get hit by a car, man. People are infants. Look at this thing. Look at that. That was a nice scalp there. Just to buy for a bounce to here. I get the fuck out. See, now, going back to the market here. So I'm just playing this back and just imagining I got a trend line here to break. You know, hey, I'm going to get out here. This is, I just scalped that off of that. Done with that trade. Sell here for a bounce to here. Sell here for a bounce to here. So if you write a trade plan like that, or you're going to buy one here, dump one, hold, look for this to finally happen, but it's probably going to come down here. You're going to buy here. You're gonna buy. I don't know if that's helping. In other words, you can't just have one trade plan. So if you scalp to here and you're holding the rest to get to here, you start getting out of something, depending on how big you're in. So if you be one of these polygamists, right, where you got like, see, that's tough. That's like a hedge fund. You got like 10 chicks on deck, and you're married to them. And then you're making babies. These motherfuckers are out of control. This is like cross rates, right? This is like super deep in. They're in so much shit they don't know what they're in. And they paid so much in commissions they don't even know what they're in. But it doesn't take long in the market it doesn't take long in life to stumble across, you know, what if the girl at the cashier is hot, right? So my buddy used to go down to the museum to pick up chicks with big tits. At the museum, I thought, wow, that is just, I never thought of that game. I'm like, really? And then you can be all like, yeah, look at that fucking piece of art, or look at that bad piece of art. You know, you really have to have, I really wonder some of these talents people have, if they're transferable to the market. Yeah, I guess it would be, let's trade. The museum's very quiet, so maybe it's an Asian session trader there. Quiet, and everything's very subtle. Doesn't take much to get, and he would take these women to a hotel or something. But his trick was he would go one state away. You'd go at least 200 miles away, so that when the person wanted to kind of like try to get married or something, he'd say, "Oh my God, you know, I mean, you're 250 miles away from me." He was swing trading that market, I think, because he had such a wide stop. He had a 200-mile stop on that. Really hard to stop him out of that, right? So this is all these tactics, I think, in the real life are applicable to the Forex market. Yeah, the sociopath swing trader with a very wide stop. This is the idea of getting a girl that's 1,000 miles away from you. Of course, the internet is what made it easy to actually build a relationship with somebody 1,000 miles away. So if it didn't work out, you could just say, you know, hey, or you could take the trade off and say, yeah, I cut my losses short here. I'm only down well, there's not even a bill anymore because you could be on Skype. So in the old days, you'd say, well, I'm only down like $1 a minute, because I know somebody from Germany. So he had this girlfriend from Germany, my buddy. And so this is his giant position trade. But of course, he loved Germany and he loved driving fast. So it was a perfect fit for him, the Autobahn. And he was, but his girlfriend was so not, he always picked girls that were very not hot. And so he wasn't a chubby chaser. He was an ugly chaser. And he was really a handsome guy. I mean, my friend was very good looking, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he wanted more leverage on the relationship, so he went with the girl not being that hot, but she was intelligent. I'm thinking that, and she was. This girl could probably. She was an engineer, right? She knew what torque was and stuff. And maybe he found that hot. Who knew? Who knew? I mean, certainly putting glasses on would make her look more intelligent. I saw a girl yesterday with the big these big glasses people have now. They look like Poindexter. I think this is the new trend, is to look really smart. Okay, so you would have cashed out here, or you would have sold here. First, it looks like it was going to keep on taking out the highs, though. This is where you're going to get your nuts crushed here. They're going to keep going higher. But here's your double bottom, or here's your head and shoulders perfectly on the. This is your shoulder, right? Your perfect pattern, perfect. And this is the retesting. And look at this thing just go gushing north right to the 100. I would definitely cash out something at the 100. And here even, I start selling right here. Typically, I start selling into that for the scalp back to, say, here. Just to make a few pips. Like I said, I'm running probably about 100 different trade plans all the time. Because that's my new relationship, is me and the market, me and trading. Yeah, so, so my buddy really will find these Poindexter girls. And, yeah, it's just too much. It's too funny. So a lot of fashion has to do with posing as a certain, but it's in your mind, I think. Like, I saw a guy on the park bench yesterday. So I'm driving home through the city, and here's a guy with a beard, gray beard, on the park bench, and he looks like that. He is that guy. Not only is he probably homeless, but he looks homeless. He hasn't shaved. I don't think he's trying to be that guy. I think there was a famous actor that went on the streets of New York as a bum, and it was Richard Gere, the American Gigolo guy. He dressed up like a bum, and they did a movie. And the funny thing is, I watched the movie, and it was really filmed really well because it was all done with telephoto lenses. But people just thought he's a fucking bum. Some people recognize him. But it was one of these bleeding heart thing about bums. But bums liked being bums. I mean, bums, that's a choice. You make a choice, right? In other words, a bum doesn't want to go to a shelter because he loses independence. So, if you're a bum Forex trader, like Forex trading bum, now you could probably get one of these bums to, and it sounds like ass, doesn't it? Isn't that what they say in Britain? A bum, that's your ass. If you get one of these asses to trade Forex without him asking too many questions. So a lot of people that are asking questions are probably, that's going to hinder their trading because they're trying to overthink it maybe, trying to overdial it in. That's possible. Especially in a world where precision, the computer is capable of immense data compiling. And I mean, you can run moving averages. You could run 4 different styles of moving averages in MetaTrader: simple, exponential, smooth, and linear weighted. You could look at that and you could back test it. You could fine tune that. There's no end to it. Or you're just trading on your gut. Going, hell, this thing's really up. If I start to kind of slightly sell into this maybe, or should I drop? This is the 1 hour chart. Should I drop down, or should I just say, fuck, man, I'll wait for the end of the day. Wait for it to simmer down. Wait for the true ranges to simmer down here. Now, this thing's just cutting north so hard right now. If you get the fear of missing it, oh my God, look at maybe it's still going to go up. Now, if you go down the 1 minute chart and you try to get on the last minute there, and oh man, it's the end of the move. Oh, jeez. Damn it. I should be selling up here maybe. Oh, jeez. Then it starts to go quiet. It starts to just mull around. Do you have a trade plan for... So this is the thing. Going back to the sociopathic friend of mine. My best friend, mind you, growing up. And of course, everybody's a sociopath in some letter of the law because everybody's trying to get ahead. That's why people come to trading. Oh, I want to, this guy's name is Have to Win, commenting. And so, yeah, that's part of the game. And to get ahead, right? Or to get ahead. To get ahead. And so, yeah, my buddy was out, but, for him, he didn't really want to have a relationship of any type of, it wasn't about finding security in longevity. He's finding security in, or finding entertainment as being the hedonistic approach to life, right? Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. So just range in the moment, living. Let's have fun today. Fuck tomorrow. And so if you're scalping the market, that might be a perfect fit, right? Because you can just in 1 hour, or in 15 minutes, or 2 hours, you can make $500, and you're like, yeah, done for the day. Or are you going to trade like you're getting married to this position? Really plot it out, and you waited. And it's not like you can't do that, right? You waited 4 weeks or 4 hours to get into a position, and you ride it for what you perceive to be the logical target based on previous, or just based on a pip. You're just trying to make 20 pips. Really crude trade plans like I'm just trying to make 20 pips. And if you consistently do that, this is where consistently doing something, and you could make money, right? So this guy could consistently keep going to the, until he meets the psycho killer babe, right? That out sociopaths him. This is where his probability of win or hit rate, he has to be good enough at trading these bitches to really not end up with being out sociopathed and getting lost in the trade. Like thinking that, this one, maybe I could marry this one, but that's the one that would backstab him or something. And so the betrayal and all that stuff is going to I would imagine that as soon as people go into the market trading, that all these other issues of their insecurities and all these other things are going to come up. So having some confidence, but not being overconfident, right? You don't want to go into the bar all swaggered in and find out your zipper's down or something. And of course, the beauty of MT4 and the beauty of trading in incremental things is that you're 5 guys walking into the bar and only one of you has a zipper down, right? So just ignore him and pay attention to the other 4 clones of you. And slightly different, right? So you've got your own wingman, so to speak. In the market, you have to have a wingman. You have to have your initial trade, and you have to have your scalp out of the box to pay for the commissions for your other fucking trade that may not work out. And that's just kind of a known thing, is that you, in any business, you need to have a tchotchke. You need to have a this swag, this stuff that people just buy T-shirts. Why do they sell T-shirts at a concert? I was always kind of like, is this a keepsake to take home? Well, not really, because they're $25 fucking for a goddamn T-shirt, and I could buy them for $5 at the store. So maybe they are making money on the T-shirt sales. Maybe they are making money on the, some guy was complaining about the price of beer at a sports game. Maybe the concessions are making 10%. But that's maybe the spread for the broker that is, it all adds up. And the big ticket is the act that comes. So a guy does a movie for $20,000. They pay the actor $20 million. They pay some fuck $20 million to be in a movie. And I guess this Scientologist guy, Tom Cruise is he kind of getting a little old to do his own stunts there. He's going to break something at some point. And Scientology, praying to Ron L. Hubbard's not going to save him. So, and I guess that's why people come to trading, because if you're a longshoreman, there was a volatility breakout there at that low bars right there. You have to think about, I want to think down the road, can I build a trading account up, or can I scalp, or can I think about making money in a different way? So for my buddy, the sociopath, he would probably at some point just buy in this day and age, because MT4 is robotic, he would just buy an Android bitch that knew about artwork. And he could just plug her in the evening and be, well, you know what? I finally got this thing in a box that I can, I finally got I was watching a bunch of old 70s and 60s horror flicks where they cut people's heads off, or they try to keep people alive, just their heads alive. There's two movies, The Head That Wouldn't Die and The Head. The Head and The Head That Wouldn't Die. These two movies, I can put a link in the thing, but seriously, you have to watch these to really get the insight to the secret of Forex. Because I think inside these movies, I always like to try to draw a parallel between the movie I'm watching and trading and The Head That Wouldn't Die. This poor chick, this guy goes out in his car, he's a scientist, and he gets in a car crash, and amazingly, his girlfriend or his fiance's head's lopped off. And this is going to be a spoiler, so spoiler alert. Takes her back to his laboratory, hooks her head up with the special serum, okay? Special serum connected to her head, right? Now, I'm telling you, I could watch this movie on a loop. Now, mind you, there's a monster that he's got in the closet, and he is just, and it's 1970 or 60. Really good movies, though. What really makes you think, what if the head? Now, what if this was a Forex trader that was $1 million trader, and the same thing happened? Would you take his head back and have him call out the trades, right? Whatever you need to do to keep that head alive, that brain. But it's funny because, I don't know what the impulse was for these movies to. Oh, that was a nice stop hunt right there. Have you had a limit sitting right here? News just came out or something. Yeah, this broker. Yeah, it was news. Something. So that nice scalp there, just blammo, and it's in an uptrend. So that kickback, just like you had here, that was another like smash and grab right there. Just like we had back here, we just had the same thing here, and that would be the killer place to. Obviously, that was news of some type. But anyways, yeah, trading's just too much fun, and of course, just complaining, I think, is too much fun, actually. But yeah, so far it's been quite a ride, and so as time ticks on, we're all getting closer to death, and so I guess you got to have some fun, right? And I think that's kind of the impulse for, the fear of missing out. Let me get in here. Like if I can make $100 today or something. And of course, that could cloud your vision. Because maybe the girl that you're looking for happens to be, I don't know, the person that brings you your mail or something. Or maybe it's, you don't see a lot of bum chicks. There's a lot of guys that are bums, but where are the bum babes? Where, well, I guess no, no, those are crack whores. But I just, because guys, they got no game. They can't whore themselves out. So they just sit there and hold a cardboard sign that says, I'll scalp for food. I'm waiting for that guy. I'll scalp for food. And so yeah, you could always have a scalping system that does pretty well. And of course, the grass always looks greener on the other side. You see these big 200 pip moves, and you think, Jesus fuck, if I could only ride that move. Of course, and the guy that rides those moves is like, if I could only scalp. But I think if you, this is why I think the demo account idea is a good idea, and strategy test is a good idea, because you could imagine, hey, what if I scalp that? As you're watching the market play back on the weekend here, it's like, what if I did go to a hotel room for 3 hours and have insane, like movie sex, like stuff you'd see out of a movie, or let's not do any sci-fi stuff. Let's not cut anybody's heads off, but I can't get over the fact that people would kill their wife. I mean, it's just, that is just bizarre. Like, I think if anybody see, there was a story about this guy, Peterson, I think was his name, and this guy, his wife was pregnant and everything, and he took her out in a boat, or he put her out in the water after he killed her or something. And I thought, Jesus, wow, man, this guy is something else. And of course, for him to on the camera say stuff like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." Man, what is that like? Is that like being in a trade where you're like, holy fuck, you're down 1,000 pips. You're like, no, it'll come back. No, I'm not. No, it doesn't bother me. I've lost my house. I'm down $4 million on the trade, but the market's coming back. So they say like it's a denial or something. That's what they say. But too much fun. Can't remember the guy's name. Last name's Peterson, though, I think. And so that is utterly fascinating. And of course, you really wouldn't have known about any of these stories or anything unless there was a technology of even television sets. And so I'm, being an old person, 59 years old, for God's sakes, I can remember the first color TV I saw, because it was black and white. We lived in black and white. And the movies were in black and white, and there really wasn't, it was like a two-dimensional world, and you didn't know, and you didn't care, and life was plenty of fun without even color TV. I guess it was fun from the standpoint is that you were in the real world. And now you have virtual worlds, and it's only going to get worse as far as the virtual world. So that, not that it's a bad thing, but it's just, it's like a fourth dimension. It exists only in your mind to a large degree. But that's why YouTube's perfect place to convey concepts and stuff, because it's really hard for me to write a book. People say, well, let's just write a book. Okay, I just don't have a typewriter, and I'm not good at typing, and I'm not good at spelling, and I don't have the patience. I'd rather just bitch and moan out loud. But that's trading certainly takes you into this realm of having to make decisions, and are you a good person at making decisions? Now, if you're a procrastinator, maybe not. So all these things would hinder your equity curve in the market, waiting for the perfect setup, waiting for your indicators to align, and then kind of lying to yourself in a way, if you say you talk yourself out of a trade or talk yourself into a trade, who's talking to you? Is that your rational mind or your fear talking to you, saying this? And if you've already set up in your mind that, well, this is such a great signal that therefore I'm going to trade this one signal harder than the other signals, and that's going to make up for my my bad trading because. And if you've ever lost any large amount of money, now you've got a scar on your brain that hopefully will become a just when you go to the gym workout, you actually destroy your muscles, so rebuild stronger. So that's the idea that you build on that. If it starts to make you more afraid to do the next trade, then, well, now you're kind of in a mental trap, because you're like, well, I'm losing confidence because I'm doing this thing and I just keep getting smashed. Well, that pain threshold is really based on the dollar amount, I think. So if you trade the demo, that's your ego losing. If you trade real money, now that's your bank account losing. And so I've met a lot of traders over the years, and I've heard everything from, well, I want some skin in the game, because if I don't have skin in the game, okay, well, that's right, because if you don't have it, you won't make the touchdown unless you skin your knee. Unless you're playing the game, you will not have. So that's true. And then there's the very intellectual or very risk-adverse person that says, no, I want to make sure that they don't even want to risk their time. I'll make sure this works before I do it. I really have to make super, super sure, because, I am risking my hard-earned money. Now here comes the fear. The fear is keep making you be too careful, and the guy that's trading with the bad ratios is overconfident in his ability to call the market. So that's like the balance. It looks like I'd be definitely putting selling stops. Now, it's just going up here. Imagine running sell stops behind trailing for any type of pullback here. Okay, you just scalped 5 pips right there. On that wick alone, and maybe you just cashed out on your long positions. Now you're still short on 3 tickets. It comes back. So you just have to rehearse the market, and then just think about when you're wrong or you lose money, what is the cascading trigger? How many times it's going to bring back every time you ever lost in your life in some faint kind of echo. So if you say, well, I'm a total loser. There's a guy that wrote a book that said, the title of the book was pretty funny. Motivational book said, why don't you go for a low expectation on everything? Yeah, lower your expectations. Stop with the goal setting and stop with the, in other words, just give yourself baby goals like, I'll make it out of the house today. Now, for a person that's afraid, these people that have fear of leaving their house, if you leave your house every morning and don't think twice of it, don't forget there's people that are literally agoraphobic or something. They're afraid to leave their house. So trading wise, saying, look at this is what I'm saying in most of my videos. Hey, look at this idea. Look at this idea. Would this idea work? And people would say, oh, yeah, I've done that trade. So here, you have to be very careful. Now here you have to put your sell limits very high, because we just got a serious rush of volatility here. Right? Now you got to trade wider. Your risks just increase immensely. If you're typically running a 8-pip stop, this market may not be fit for you. For your trade plan may not fit into this market. So having your trade fit current conditions. That was a scalp there, and then you look at a scalp, and then you're back all the way back to that price. So they pulled back 10 pips, and they just rocketed up. I can't change time frame to see it, but you could watch this 1 hour playback. And so I just think it's about trying to fit your current, and whatever you do for a living, all this stuff, you're thinking, what you think about could happen. This is why this positive expectation is dangerous. I'd say have just manage the risk. That was the old line. Manage the risk, the profits take care of themselves. Manage your losses and the profits. Given the right ratios, you don't have to know where the market's going. Right? You could have trade breakout trade here, and you're still killing it on the north side. Getting ready to sell here, of course, on some scalpish trade. Go another run to the 20-yard line here. I would sell to 20. I would sell every 10 pips it goes up for the next 4 hours maybe. I build a sell position coming in lightly, and when a market goes sideways and gives me the breakout signal, I put on the head, I put on the stealth stops and put in tight. I tighten everything up when the market quiets down, and I widen everything up when the market gets loud. So you have to adjust the conditions here, right? The girl throws a rock through your window. Okay. You stay at your buddy's house, right? Wait till things calm down. Come back later, right? And you got to come back different with flowers, you know. Anyways, that's my my rant for the day, and just have to rehearse. Just try to get it. Get a mindset for the market's going to open next week. It'll be open, and even though I think it's a holiday here on the Monday, but it should be. The markets will be closed. You know, U.S. markets are closed. Doesn't mean you can't trade. I never thought you couldn't trade, even during Christmas. But if you're a scalper, it's not going to make too much of a difference. Now, if you're holding some big position, I really don't think it matters. I've seen bigger moves when there's no news, and I've seen small moves when there's big news. There is no rule. There's no hard rule. There's no rule you can apply to every situation, I don't think. Okay, so good luck with that.